We're back with Darren Kimura, President and CEO of Energy Industries, LLC, a Hawaii-based energy efficiency company.
So Darren, as a young entrepreneur, how did you end up getting financing for your business then?
Actually, that's another really good question, because we weren't able to get financing. At that time, banks didn't believe in the concept, or at least they didn't believe in, I guess, the infancy of this industry in Hawaii as it was at that time. And of course, I was extremely young. I even had a hard time setting up a checking account, and I actually had a friend's father who was a banker set that up for us, which we were very lucky to have. So really it was more organic capital from friends and family, and credit cards, quite frankly.
But now, what made the difference then? What made the difference so now banks take you seriously? Because you're really not that much older.
10, 12, 11 years older. Now, I think we've been able to assemble a really great team. We've got some industry players around Hawaii that have joined our company, which really kind of, I guess, help to facilitate people wanting to do business with us. And, Hawaii is a very small network. It's a very small community. It's really about who you know and who believes in you. And I think that has been the major difference.
So what do you feel are important points for young business people starting a business?
I think first and foremost, for a young person, you want to have a good concept. You want to have a good understanding of what you're trying to do, and not just the idea in itself. You really need to understand the nuts and bolts of what you're trying to do, because business in itself is challenging, and you gotta obviously be able to overcome challenges. You gotta be able to persevere. You have to have a high tolerance for pain, and of course, ultimately, believe and love what you do, because it's those times when you're challenged, when you're gonna question yourself, and it's how much you believe and love what you do that ultimately, I guess, lend to the story of what you become.
I read on the website, it was an old publication of a newspaper. It said that one of your biggest challenges was your age when, going out for business, taking on new projects. Could you tell us a little bit about those challenges and how you overcame those barriers with older people?
Sure. Like I mentioned early on, I think one of the major challenges for anybody young in Hawaii is to gain street credibility. And it takes time. I believe, for one thing, success comes from legacy and not luck. So you have to do anything for a long period of time in order for, in my opinion anyway, for you to be considered successful. And at that time, being, virtually straight out of college, you've got no street credit, you've got no legacy, and all you've got is a little bit of luck. I guess there's not really one specific answer for that question. I think a lot of it has to deal with just following through with what you say, being committed to the cause. I think in our challenge, in our case, there was no such thing as an energy efficiency industry at that time. And even till today, there really isn't an industry like ours right now. So we're still kind of trying to reinvent it. I think it depends on what you're trying to do as a young person in your business. That'll also kind of pave the way for you a little bit as well.
So through your success, are you able to give us the 3 most important things for running a successful business?
That's a good question. I think first and foremost, quite frankly, for me, I would say get experience. If for a young person, go out there, work for somebody else, learn at their expense, learn what they've done well and why, and of course, ultimately, like I mentioned early on, learn at their expense. I think secondly, do something that you love, because you have to love what you do in order for you to be able to do it well through the great times and the bad times. And in Hawaii's economy, it's somewhat challenging because our economy is very, I don't know what the term is, fragile, if you will. Anything can break us very easily. And you have to love what you do in order for you to do it through the hard times when you're not getting paid the money you want to get paid. Third is, put together a great team. And that team would include, not only your internal team, but also people like your bankers, your insurance companies, your attorneys. They're costs today, but ultimately, those costs will save you long term.
So banker, how important is your banker?
Very important. It's important for you to build a relationship with your banker. I mean, if you walk in off the street, and that's what I did in the beginning, and you try to talk to the branch manager, it won't get you very far. So ultimately, I think a bank relationship develops over time, but it is definitely probably maybe number one as far as your external team, the number one most important thing you need to have.
You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com.